Your deeper self knows. Your surface self pretends to know. Plans fail because it is ego that devises them. Visions do not fail because your I Amness bestows upon you the vision. There is a reason we call men of great legacy visionary men. And if you read their autobiographies, you will find great failure upon failure. Until they listened to that innate voice within and made it. The only credit you can truly give such men is that they persisted. They battled with their ego and finally allowed their innate wisdom to guide them rather than being neutered by the illusory self. Intuition and inspiration, the two key principles which led me to all my success. My wife, I knew the moment I saw her that she was the one. This channel I started because I had this urge to share my message. And consequently, it made me substantial financial abundance. You see, I never planned to make a YouTube channel, far from it. My life trajectory could not have been farther from becoming a writer. But I always knew I had ideas to share. And the vision was with me all along. I just didn't allow it due to fear and societal programming. You have your vision with you right now. But your surface self doesn't allow it. You see, you know things. These things come from your deeper self. Not the surface self. The surface self knows nothing. It only pretends to know it. Look at your fears. Psychological fear is an imposter. But ego immediately believes in it. Because ego in of itself is also an imposter. Like attracts like. Well, what is faith? Faith is just flipped fear. Or rather fear is just flipped faith. Faith, as Neville Goddard defines, is loyalty to the unseen. And what is psychological fear? If not loyalty to the pretentious and illusory unseen. It is pretentious because unlike faith, fear is the feeling generated from the ego alone. Your deeper self doesn't relate to fear in any way. Well, faith is the vision of your I am. As your deeper self, via creative imagination can see that which it desires as an objective fact. But most men are predominantly identified with the surface self. Therefore, they are not counted among the visionary men. Because vision lies beyond fear in the realm of faith. So I tell you, you have it all within you right now. All you must do is allow it. How do you allow it? By flipping fear. And knowing fear as the imposter that it is. You don't know what the future holds. Yet you so completely believe in the projection of your fears about the future. How do you know? And you know what, 99% of your fears have not come true. The proof of it lies in the very fact that you are alive right now. And the reason why most of your fears do not come to pass is because of the fact that your real self does not acknowledge fear. So it dismisses it as much as it is allowed by your ego self. But if your ego self is extremely dominant and dwells upon the fear day in and day out, it comes to pass. And then ego feels redeemed in proclaiming that it foresaw it. And the poor self-victim claims proudly, I knew it, that this would happen. Not knowing that it happened because you created it. All psychological fears are loyalty to the unseen. Isn't it? Well, faith is the opposite of fear. If you are new to my channel, then watch some of my videos about the law of assumption. But my regular viewers know that as man thinketh in his heart, so is he. We create our hell and heaven right here on earth. By thinking and being a certain way. All because our ego is too sure of its illusory self. And we do not refute its faulty judgments and predictions. You have enough data in your life to see how absolutely absurd your egoic judgment is. And you have at some point followed a hunch. And it has produced wonderful results. You know it. Just examine your life. And I won't have to convince you at all. You see, vision is godly. Predictions are man-made. God doesn't predict, he creates. God imagines, and it becomes. I thought I knew God from my religious programming. But then intuition came and led me out of that dogma. Because it never felt right. To worship a so-called almighty God who doesn't need it. You see, we have an innate wisdom in us that feels resonance when it encounters truth. And it feels dissonance, what we call negative emotions, when it comes across BS. But we ignore it because it is not very logical to the so-called intellectual within. Reason is interpreted as Satan by Neville Goddard from the Bible. And I find myself more so inclined each day to acknowledge the truth in that interpretation. Because I have reasoned myself out of happiness, health, wealth, and opportunities. I know you have too. We overthink ourselves out of the present moment, the vision, and the inspiration. And what does it lead to? Never success, let me tell you from my personal experience. But the ego so boastfully predicts that if I follow my intuition, it will lead to disaster. How does it know? Can you honestly claim that you know anything about the future with absolute certainty from your surface self? Then if what fear claims and what faith claims are both loyalty to the unseen, why not choose faith? Fear will give you nothing at best and an unwanted experience at worst. Why choose it? The point of this video is, know your vision. Do not attempt to know this world before you know thyself. This is the problem with the majority of intellectuals in this modern world. They are devoid of spirituality, solely focused on the material world. Thus, they can never come up with holistic theories to explain the phenomenon of life. Do not try to understand this illusory world and negotiate with it before you can learn to still your mind and know intuition. It will talk you out of your divine inheritance. Drive your life from your vision, not the egoic self, which is illusory. And since it is illusory, it fails often. More than our liking. Well, the vision never fails if you but demonstrate loyalty to it. Because the fulfillment of the vision is the guarantee of the divinity within you. The source of all is working on it. You wouldn't even have the vision if the divinity within you did not contain its fulfillment. This is why Neville Goddard says that to desire a state is to have it. It is a promise from the depth of your own being that it is done. Just allow it. We allow it by accepting it gracefully as already a fact in the mind of God. And then, employ faith to demonstrate loyalty to the unseen. And the unseen becomes seen. Well, fear is exactly the same thing. It tells you it won't happen. And you will struggle and fail, and it will be painful. And that is true. Because fear always holds the point of view of your egoic self. You, the man or woman, will most likely fail in anything worthwhile. But you are not this bodysuit. You are a spiritual and eternal being, one with source, having a temporary human experience. So if you identify with your divine self, it cannot fail. But the man can most definitely fail. We delude ourselves into thinking that we do anything. But as Christ said, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Therefore, it is man who fails, not God. And vision is the work of God. So you choose in this moment, are you identified with being one with God or just a man? And that will determine your fate. Fate is chosen, not predetermined, because man is bestowed upon the gift of speech and mind which makes him equal to the immortals, said Hermes Trismegistus. And Napoleon Hill quotes in his book, Think and Grow Rich. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. But as the captain, you must steer the ship. You can only steer in two directions. Fear or faith. Son of man or son of God. Vision or reason. So let me ask you this. Who do you say that I am?